Hello folks, it's finally happened. The budget has been and gone, and I'm just going to talk you through how it's going to affect you as a motorist in the UK. The big news really is first year vehicle excise duty, or road tax as a lot of people call it, on new cars. It's gone crazy. So basically it's going to remain the same for zero emissions vehicles, that's full battery electric or hydrogen vehicles if you actually had one of those. It's going to be 10 quid for the first year. Hybrid vehicles that are emitting between 1 and 50 grams of CO2 going to pay a first year rate of £110, while those emitting 51 to 75 grams per kilometre will pay £130. But petrol and diesel vehicles, internal combustion engine vehicles, are going to have their initial vehicle excise duty rate doubled. So let's have a look at what that actually means in numbers. If you were getting something like a Super Mini, let's say 1.2 hybrid Vauxhall Corsa, emitting 102 grams per kilometre of CO2, it's going to increase from £195 to nearly £400. Okay? This is your first year vehicle excise duty. On something like a V8 Range Rover, with that first year vehicle excise duty, it's currently £2,745. That's going to be £5,490 in the first year. Staggering numbers, like really staggering numbers. And with these tax increases, they always talk about the increase will raise this much money, but they never seem to factor in that not as many people will buy one of those vehicles new if they have to pay that much extra on top, and luxury vehicle tax and all these other things. Now some people watching this will be saying, well, I lease my cars so it's not going to have any effect on me. And yeah, well, to a degree you could sort of make that argument. Obviously if you're signing up for a new lease once this tax is in place, the lease could be a little bit more expensive because the leasing company's got to pay a lot more tax when they first buy the car. So while you might not personally feel a big hit of having to pay out a big lump of tax yourself, your monthly payments will be a few quid more because of it. So company car tax incentives for electric vehicles. Now, loads of people are on salary sacrifice schemes at the moment. Loads of people have taken an electric car as a company car. Some people put one through their own business and have that as a company car because it's a tax efficient way of doing things. Well, the news is that tax incentives are going to stay, but the percentage of tax you pay is going to go up. It's actually going to go up 2% a year until we get to a cap of 9% in 2029 to 2030. And I would guess once that time comes, it will just go through the roof again. So keep this in mind. People are often asking me at the moment about salary sacrifice and does it make sense versus leasing privately and that kind of stuff. You have to factor in that you're kind of at the beck and call of the Chancellor 𝙇𝙄𝙉𝙆𝙎 and what they decide to do with company car tax, because the company car tax element of it could be the difference between it making sense and very much not making sense. Hybrid company cars are going to see much steeper increases in company car tax, and by 2029-2030 it's going to reach an 18% tax rate. Okay, so that's not great. And cars emitting more than 51 grams per kilometre of CO2, primarily just full petrol and diesel cars and mild hybrids, these are going to see rates increase gradually as well, with percentage climbing from 19% in 2028 to 29 to 39% in 29 to 30. So at that point, you just won't have a petrol or diesel company car unless you like paying absolutely bucket loads of tax. Don't forget as well, there'll be a lot of people desperate to get in the comments to say company cars are a perk and they're this and they're that. I used to do 25,000 business miles a year. A company car to me was like a hammer is to a builder. You know, it's a tool of the trade. It's something I needed to get from A to B to drive around the country all day long. So yeah, that's going to hurt a lot of working people. Of course, there was also lots of rumour that the 5p cut on fuel duty was going to be taken away. They've said that that's going to stay in place for another year. I can only imagine once that year's over that will be taken away because they're already hitting the motorists with a bit of a firm stick in this one. And I guess they want to spread it out a little bit and avoid too many negative headlines all at once. But I don't know. And they say it's going to save the average They say that 5p cut saves the average motorist about 50-60 quid a year, so it's not exactly earth-shattering. And of course they've made out like that some massive effort to keep that cut. But it is what it is, folks. That cut is staying there for the foreseeable future. And they've said there's also going to be some work done on making petrol pricing a bit more transparent. I think what they should really do is rule with an iron fist on that and put in some kind of hard and fast rule as to how much margin petrol retailers are allowed to make. That's the thing that would make a massive difference, because at the moment, when tax cuts happen, on the rare occasion they do happen, it's just an excuse for retailers to increase their margins. When the price of crude goes up or down, they use all of it to keep their margins as strong as possible for as long as possible, and are very slow to put prices down but very quick to put them up. So much more needs to be done there, in my personal opinion. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Government's going to invest 200 million in beefing up the UK's charge point network. It's a common thing that people still say is the infrastructure is not good enough. In a lot of the country it is. But what they really need to do is make it much easier for people to have charging available at home, and for the masses to have it available, not just those with a private driveway. So I hope some of it gets pushed towards that, that's for sure. 120 million is going to be allocated into grants for companies to buy electric vans. And government also will maintain incentives for businesses such as 100% first year allowances on EVs and EV charge points. So this feels like a lighter touch than we were perhaps originally thinking may come along. There's certainly no mention of a pence per mile tax, as had been touted and heavily rumoured. You have to wonder if some of those rumours were put in place so that when everything was announced it felt like a bit of a relief for everyone, or whether it was just a load of paper talk. But it often stems from somewhere. And at a time when the automotive industry is struggling, it seems like an odd move to put a load of tax onto a brand new car. But I think the takeaway is, if you're buying a brand new car and it's not electric, you're going to get a bit of a sting with that first year vehicle excise duty. The plan is still to go fully electric by 2035. It's fully electric for new cars. It's the thing that's often missed out. That's for new cars. So you'll still be able to drive your petrol and diesel cars in 2035. Your existing cars, you won't be able to buy a new one in this country. That's the way it stands at the moment. But from 2030, it looks like it's going to hurt to buy anything other than an electric car or a hydrogen car if they exist at that time and you can actually fuel one anywhere. So there we go. That's kind of the very brief summary of things that are going to affect you as a driver in the UK coming from that budget. For the rest of us, I just wish it had been way more positive. I think they should be doing things to support the economy and not stifle it. But there we go. What do I know? I'm just a YouTuber. Thanks ever so much for watching, folks. Please give the video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel and wish me luck with this cold. See you soon.
Huge thanks to all my channel members for your continued support. I really do appreciate it.